Today, we're diving into one of the universe's most captivating mysteries, the deafening silence of space. For generations, humanity has gazed at the stars, wondering if we're alone. Since the first radio telescopes pierced the heavens in the 1930s, we've been listening intently for any sign of intelligent life among the stars. Our most brilliant minds have crafted increasingly sophisticated ways to detect signals from alien civilizations. We've sent messages of our own, broadcasting our presence to the cosmos. Yet, decade after decade, we've encountered nothing but an overwhelming, all-encompassing silence. Picture yourself in a dense, dark forest at night, the kind where the trees are so thick they block out even the faintest starlight. As you stand there in complete darkness, you hear a twig snap in the distance. What would you do? Would you call out, announcing your presence to whatever might be lurking in the shadows? Or would you freeze, holding your breath, afraid that making any sound might attract the attention of a predator? Now, imagine something far more unsettling. What if the entire universe is like that dark forest? What if advanced civilizations are out there, hiding in the cosmic shadows, terrified of being discovered? This is the disturbing reality proposed by the dark forest hypothesis, a theory that might explain why the cosmos remains eerily silent. But before we venture deeper into this fascinating theory, if you're as intrigued by the mysteries of the cosmos as we are, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Join our community of cosmic explorers at Exploring the Universe, where we unravel the greatest mysteries our universe has to offer. This chilling perspective on our cosmic neighborhood might change the way you look at the night sky forever. Are we alone in the universe? Or are we simply the only ones naive enough to broadcast our presence? Let's find out. The dark forest hypothesis emerged from the pages of one of science fiction's most groundbreaking works, The Three-Body Problem, written by Chinese author Cixin Liu. Published in 2008, this masterpiece captivated readers worldwide with its haunting vision of cosmic civilization. While Western science fiction often portrayed space as a frontier of adventure and discovery, Liu's perspective offered something far more unsettling. What makes Liu's vision particularly fascinating is how it builds upon a question that has puzzled scientists for decades: the Fermi Paradox. Back in 1950, during a casual lunch at Los Alamos Laboratory, physicist Enrico Fermi posed a deceptively simple question to his colleagues. "Where is everybody?" he asked. "Given the vast age of the universe and the billions of potentially habitable planets, advanced civilizations should be everywhere. Yet we see no signs of them." This paradox becomes even more perplexing when we consider the optimistic viewpoint championed by Carl Sagan in the 20th century. Sagan, with his infectious enthusiasm for space exploration, believed that advanced civilizations would naturally want to communicate and share knowledge. He helped pioneer the SETI project and was instrumental in placing golden records on the Voyager spacecraft, essentially creating cosmic time capsules of human civilization. But while Sagan saw the cosmos as a place of potential friendship and collaboration, Liu's dark forest theory suggests something far more sinister. It's worth noting that Liu's perspective was shaped by his experiences growing up during China's Cultural Revolution, a period that taught him harsh lessons about survival in a hostile environment. The contrast between these viewpoints couldn't be more striking. Sagan's vision was one of cosmic community, where civilizations would reach out across the stars to share their wisdom. Liu, on the other hand, saw the universe as a place where revealing your presence might be the last thing you ever do. Think about it. While we've been beaming our existence into space with radio signals for over a century, broadcasting everything from our first television shows to military radar, maybe the rest of the universe has been watching in horror at our naivety. Perhaps, as we'll explore next, there's a very good reason why other civilizations choose to remain hidden in the cosmic dark. The difference between these perspectives raises an unsettling question. Are we like innocent children, shouting in a forest full of predators? And if so, what happens when something answers our call? To understand the dark forest hypothesis, we need to examine three fundamental principles that shape the behavior of any advanced civilization in the cosmos. These aren't just abstract theories, they're deeply rooted in patterns we can observe right here on Earth. First and foremost is the basic drive for survival. Throughout history, from the ancient empires to modern nations, survival has been the primary motivation behind every major decision. Look at how civilizations have developed defenses, from the Great Wall of China to modern military systems. This instinct for self-preservation isn't just a human trait. It's likely universal. Any civilization advanced enough to achieve interstellar communication would have survived countless challenges and developed a powerful drive to continue existing. The second principle is equally unavoidable: growth and expansion. Just as a forest spreads its seeds to new territories, civilizations naturally expand. We've seen this pattern repeatedly in human history. From the ancient Phoenicians establishing trading posts across the Mediterranean to modern nations setting up research stations in Antarctica, expansion seems hardwired into successful civilizations. Now, imagine this same drive playing out on a cosmic scale. Resources, even on a planetary scale, are finite. Any advanced civilization would eventually need to look to the stars for continued growth. But here's where things get truly unsettling. The third principle: absolute uncertainty about the intentions of other civilizations. Think about how difficult it is to understand the motivations of different cultures here on Earth, where we at least share a common biological heritage. Now multiply that uncertainty by 1,000,000 when dealing with completely alien life forms. We can't assume that alien civilizations would share our values or moral frameworks. They might have evolved under completely different conditions, leading to thought processes we can't even imagine. What we consider friendly might be seen as hostile by them, or vice versa. Their concept of communication might be entirely different from ours. Consider this: when European explorers first encountered isolated tribes, both sides often misinterpreted each other's actions, sometimes with tragic consequences. And these were all humans. Now imagine trying to interpret the intentions of a civilization that evolved on a planet with different chemistry, different physics, and possibly even different concepts of consciousness or existence. This uncertainty creates a terrifying conclusion. In a universe where you can't be sure of anyone's intentions and where the stakes are literally existential, the safest course of action might be to eliminate any potential threat before it can eliminate you. It's like a cosmic version of the age-old survival instinct. When you hear a noise in the dark, it's safer to assume it's a predator than a friend. These three principles, survival, expansion, and uncertainty, create a perfect storm of cosmic paranoia. And as we'll see next, this leads to a chilling game theory scenario that might explain why the universe appears so eerily empty of intelligent life. Let me tell you about one of the most chilling aspects of the dark forest hypothesis. It's cold, hard logic. Imagine you're playing a game of cosmic poker, but the stakes aren't just money. They're the survival of entire civilizations. Game theory, particularly the famous prisoner's dilemma, helps us understand why civilizations might choose to hide. In the classic prisoner's dilemma, two suspects are separated and offered deals to betray each other. The fascinating thing is that even though cooperation would benefit both, the logical choice is often to betray the other person, simply because you can't trust their intentions. Now scale this up to the cosmic level. When two civilizations discover each other across the vast darkness of space, they face a similar dilemma. Here's the crucial difference, though. There's no cosmic police, no galactic UN, no rules of engagement. Each civilization knows three things. First, life and survival are precious. Every species wants to survive. Second, resources in the universe are finite, despite its vastness. Third, and most importantly, they have no way of knowing the other civilizations' true intentions. This creates what game theorists call a chain of suspicion. Even if both civilizations are peaceful, they can't be certain about each other. What if the other civilization is just pretending to be friendly while developing weapons? What if they're playing nice now, but will attack once they're stronger? The safest strategy, therefore, becomes complete silence and concealment. Think about it. If you're hiding in that dark forest we talked about earlier, making noise only reveals your location to potential predators. The same applies to the cosmic scale, but here's where it gets truly disturbing. If a civilization does detect another one, the mathematically logical response is immediate attack, not out of malice, but pure self-preservation. Because if you wait, you risk giving the other civilization time to strike first or become stronger than you. This creates what Cixin calls the dark forest state, a universe where advanced civilizations exist but remain deadly quiet, like hunters in a dark forest, each afraid of revealing their position. Any civilization that announces its presence is essentially committing cosmic suicide. Some real-world examples might help illustrate this concept. Consider how uncontacted tribes on Earth often react to outside contact, usually with hostility. They've learned through bitter experience that unknown visitors often bring destruction. Now imagine this same principle playing out across the stars, but with civilizations wielding the power to destroy entire solar systems. And here's a thought that keeps astronomers awake at night. What if we humans have already made too much noise? Our radio signals have been traveling through space for over 100 years now, creating an ever-expanding bubble of broadcasts, announcing our presence to anyone who might be listening. The dark forest logic suggests that the silence we observe in the universe isn't empty. It's a silence full of hidden civilizations, each one holding its breath, trying not to make a sound in the cosmic night. And perhaps, just perhaps, that silence is the only thing keeping them alive. Have you ever shouted, "Hello," into a dark cave, not knowing what might shout back? That's essentially what we've been doing with SETI for the past 60 years. But the dark forest hypothesis suggests we might be playing a very dangerous game. Since 1984, when NASA first began systematically searching for alien signals, we've been broadcasting our presence to the cosmos. The famous Arecibo message, sent in 1974, carried information about human DNA, our solar system, and even a stick figure of a human being. How naive we might have been. Think about this. Our radio and television broadcasts have already created a bubble of human signals extending roughly 100 light-years into space. That means any advanced civilization within that radius could have already detected us. If the dark forest hypothesis is correct, we might have already placed ourselves in terrible danger. But here's where things get even more unsettling. What if some of the signals we're detecting aren't friendly beacons but cosmic traps? Imagine a predator in nature using bait to lure its prey. Now scale that up to the galactic level. An advanced civilization might deliberately send out intriguing signals, designed to prompt a response from younger, more naive civilizations like ours. Here's a chilling thought. The famous WOW signal, detected in 1977, was so remarkable that astronomer Jerry Eman wrote "wow" on the printout when he saw it. It seemed to have all the characteristics we expected from an artificial alien signal, but it was never detected again. Could it have been a trap? A cosmic fishing line cast into the sea of space, waiting for someone to bite? Some scientists have started raising red flags about our current approaches to cosmic communication. Frank Drake, the father of modern SETI, created his famous equation to estimate the number of civilizations in our galaxy. But he never considered that staying quiet might be essential for survival. Stephen Hawking himself warned us about this. He compared potential contact with aliens to Native Americans encountering Columbus, which didn't turn out well for the Native Americans. If aliens visit us, he said, the outcome would be much as when Columbus landed in America, which didn't turn out well for the Native Americans. The debate in the scientific community has become increasingly heated. Some researchers, like Alexander Zaitsev, argue that we have a cosmic duty to announce our presence. They call it archaeological SETI. Others, like David Brin, advocate for what they call meaty pause, a temporary halt to all message to extraterrestrial intelligence activities until we can better assess the risks. Here's an interesting parallel. During World War II, cities practiced blackouts to avoid being spotted by enemy aircraft. Some scientists suggest we might need a cosmic blackout, a complete cessation of deliberate transmissions into space. But is it already too late? Our earliest radio signals have already reached thousands of star systems. The most troubling aspect? We can't test this hypothesis without potentially putting humanity at risk. It's like trying to determine if a mushroom is poisonous by eating it. By the time you know the answer, it might be too late to do anything about it. So next time you look up at the stars and wonder why we haven't heard from anyone out there, remember, the silence might not be a sign of absence. It might be a sign of wisdom. And perhaps we should think very carefully about breaking that silence ourselves. After all, in a dark forest, sometimes the smartest strategy is to hold your breath and listen, rather than calling out to see who else is there, because something might just answer, and that something might not be friendly. Let's look at some intriguing evidence that might support this unsettling theory. And trust me, some of these findings will make you look at the night sky very differently. First, let's talk about what astronomers call the Great Silence. Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is about 13 billion years old. It contains roughly 400 billion stars, and we now know that most of these stars have planets. Mathematics suggests that intelligent life should be abundant, yet we hear nothing. Absolutely nothing. Think about this. If just one civilization had emerged 1,000,000 years before us, they would have had enough time to colonize the entire galaxy, even traveling at relatively slow speeds. The fact that we don't see any evidence of this is puzzling, unless, of course, they're deliberately hiding. Now, here's where things get really interesting. In 2015, astronomers discovered something extraordinary. Tabby's star, officially known as KIC 8462852. This star exhibits bizarre behavior that scientists still can't fully explain. It randomly dims by up to 22%, far too much to be explained by planets passing in front of it. One controversial explanation: we might be seeing the shadow of massive alien structures. Perhaps some kind of cosmic megastructure built by an advanced civilization. But if that's true, why would they build something so visible? Unless, what if we're seeing something they tried to hide, but couldn't quite manage to conceal completely? And Tabby's star isn't alone. We've discovered other unexplained phenomena. Fast radio bursts, mysterious objects like Oumuamua, and strange dimming patterns in other stars. Could these be glimpses of hidden civilizations accidentally revealing themselves? But perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from right here on Earth. Throughout human history, we've seen consistent patterns in how isolated societies react to the discovery of more technologically advanced civilizations. Take the Sentinel tribes of the Andaman Islands, for instance. They've chosen complete isolation after early violent encounters with outsiders. They shoot arrows at any approaching helicopters or boats, or consider the history of Japan's Sakoku period, when they completely closed their borders for over 200 years after observing what European colonization did to other Asian nations. They chose isolation as a survival strategy, and it worked. Even in the animal kingdom, we see this behavior. Many prey species have evolved to be silent and hidden to avoid predators. The parallel to the dark forest hypothesis is striking. In nature, broadcasting your presence often leads to becoming someone else's dinner. Modern human behavior provides even more parallels. Think about how nations protect their technological secrets, how corporations hide their breakthroughs from competitors, how military installations go dark on satellite maps. If we behave this way just among ourselves, imagine how we might act toward an unknown alien civilization. If this dark vision of the cosmos has made you rethink our search for alien life, hit that like button right now. And don't forget to subscribe to Exploring the Universe for more fascinating journeys into the mysteries of our universe. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. The most unsettling part, the better we get at observing the universe, the more mysterious it becomes. Each new discovery seems to add to the puzzle rather than solve it. Perhaps this very mystery, this profound silence, is the strongest evidence that the dark forest hypothesis might be right. Remember, in a dark forest, the most successful survivors are the ones you never notice are there. The same might be true for the cosmic forest above our heads. But wait a minute, is the universe really such a dark and frightening place? Let's explore some compelling arguments that challenge this grim view of cosmic civilization. First, let's talk about the assumption that conflict between civilizations is inevitable. Many scientists and philosophers argue that any civilization advanced enough for interstellar travel would have likely outgrown its violent tendencies. Think about it. To reach the stars, a species would need to avoid destroying itself through war, environmental destruction, or technological disaster. This suggests they might have developed powerful cooperative abilities. Carl Sagan once made a fascinating observation about this. He pointed out that as human civilization has advanced, we've generally become less violent, not more. Despite what the news might suggest, we actually live in the most peaceful time in human history. If this is a universal pattern, perhaps advanced alien civilizations would be even more peaceful than we are. Here's another interesting perspective. The universe is unimaginably vast and resource-rich. Our own solar system contains enough resources to sustain human civilization for millions of years. Why would advanced civilizations need to fight over resources when they're so abundantly available? It would be like nations going to war over sand in the Sahara Desert. The possibility of cosmic cooperation is particularly intriguing. We can see examples of beneficial cooperation evolving independently throughout Earth's history. From single-celled organisms joining to form complex life, to humans creating increasingly larger and more cooperative societies. Perhaps this tendency toward cooperation is a universal principle of advanced life. Consider how human civilization has evolved. Despite our conflicts, we've managed to create international space programs, global scientific collaborations, and worldwide communication networks. The International Space Station represents 17 nations working together in space. If we can do this despite our differences, imagine what civilizations thousands or millions of years more advanced than us might achieve. There's also the possibility that advanced civilizations might develop beyond our current concept of competition and conflict. They might transcend biological limitations, merge with artificial intelligence, or develop forms of consciousness we can't even imagine. Their motivations and behaviors might be as incomprehensible to us as human society would be to an ant colony. Now let's talk about technological limitations. The dark forest hypothesis assumes that civilizations can detect and destroy each other across interstellar distances. But is this really possible? The vast distances between stars present enormous challenges. Even at the speed of light, it takes years or decades for signals to reach nearby stars. Any kind of military response would face the same limitations. Here's a mind-bending thought. Perhaps we can't detect alien civilizations simply because we don't know what to look for. We're like medieval peasants trying to detect the internet. We simply lack the technological framework to recognize advanced alien activities. They might be using communication methods we haven't even dreamed of yet, like quantum entanglement or dimensions we can't perceive. Some scientists suggest that truly advanced civilizations might be post-biological, having merged with artificial intelligence or transformed into forms we wouldn't recognize as life. They might exist primarily in simulated realities or have moved to other dimensions entirely. In such cases, our current search methods would be like trying to find fish by looking in trees. There's also the possibility that the evolution of intelligence follows paths we haven't considered. Perhaps most advanced civilizations turn inward, exploring inner space rather than outer space. They might find virtual realms more interesting than physical exploration, making them effectively invisible to our current detection methods. The anthropologist Mary Catherine Bateson once said that the species that survive are not the strongest or most intelligent, but those most responsive to change. Perhaps the same is true on a cosmic scale. Successful civilizations might be those that adapt and cooperate, rather than those that hide and destroy. So while the dark forest hypothesis presents a compelling narrative, it might say more about our own fears and limitations than about the actual nature of cosmic civilization. The universe might not be a dark forest at all, but rather a vast garden where different forms of life flourish in their own unique ways, waiting for us to develop the wisdom and technology to perceive and understand them. While the dark forest theory offers one explanation for the cosmic silence, there are other fascinating possibilities that might explain why we haven't heard from alien civilizations. Let me share some of these mind-bending alternatives with you. Let's start with the zoo hypothesis. Imagine visiting a wildlife preserve in Africa. The animals go about their lives, largely unaware that they're being carefully watched and studied. Now, scale that up to a cosmic level. What if Earth is essentially a galactic wildlife park, with advanced civilizations observing us while deliberately avoiding contact? The zoo hypothesis suggests that alien civilizations might have agreed on a kind of cosmic quarantine of Earth. They might be studying us, much like we study natural ecosystems, taking care not to interfere with our natural development. Think of it as a prime directive, similar to what you might have seen in science fiction, but operating on a real galactic scale. This idea was first proposed by John Ball in 1973, and it addresses something quite fascinating. Why would advanced civilizations, if they exist, be so consistently good at hiding from us? Perhaps they're not hiding at all. They're just following strict protocols about non-interference with developing civilizations like ours. Now let's explore the rare Earth hypothesis. This one suggests that while simple life might be common in the universe, intelligent life is extremely rare. The conditions needed for complex life to evolve might be far more specific than we initially thought. Consider this. In Earth's 4.5 billion year history, intelligent life only emerged once, and it required an incredible series of fortunate circumstances. We needed a large moon to stabilize our orbit, a magnetic field to protect us from radiation, plate tectonics to regulate our climate, and countless other factors that had to be just right. Even the evolution of complex life itself might be an extremely rare event. It took nearly 2 billion years for single-celled organisms to figure out how to combine into complex cells. This crucial step, called endosymbiosis, might be so improbable that it rarely happens elsewhere. But perhaps the most sobering alternative is the Great Filter hypothesis. This suggests that there might be some kind of developmental barrier that civilizations typically don't survive. The terrifying part: we might not have encountered this filter yet. The Great Filter could be behind us. Perhaps the development of complex life is the filter, and we're already past it. But it might also lie ahead. Could it be nuclear war, climate change, artificial intelligence, the development of some technology that invariably leads to a civilization's destruction? Here's a chilling thought. Every time we discover that simple life is more common in the universe than we thought, it actually increases the likelihood that the great filter lies ahead of us, not behind us. Because if simple life is common, but we don't see any advanced civilizations, something must be stopping them from reaching that stage. Robin Hanson, who first formalized this idea, suggests that the filter might be a series of steps, each one reducing the number of civilizations that make it through, like a cosmic game of survival, where each level becomes increasingly difficult to pass. Think about our own civilization's challenges. We developed nuclear weapons before we developed the political systems to ensure they would never be used. We created industrial technology before we understood its impact on our climate. We're developing artificial intelligence before we fully understand consciousness. Each of these could potentially be part of the great filter. These alternatives to the dark forest hypothesis offer different perspectives on our cosmic solitude. Perhaps we're not alone because others are hiding, but because intelligent life is genuinely rare. Or maybe we're being watched but not contacted. Or most sobering of all, perhaps we're alone because civilizations tend to destroy themselves before they can make their presence known across the cosmos. The truth might be a combination of these hypotheses, or something we haven't even conceived of yet. After all, as Arthur C. Clarke famously said, two possibilities exist. Either we are alone in the universe or we are not. Both are equally terrifying. Let's take a moment to ponder some of the deeper questions that the dark forest hypothesis raises about our place in the cosmos. These aren't just scientific questions. They touch the very core of what it means to be human. Imagine standing on a beach at night, waves crashing at your feet, stars twinkling overhead. Now consider this. We might be the only beings in our galaxy looking up at those stars and wondering about their meaning. How does that make you feel? Lonely, special, terrified? If we are truly alone, it places an enormous responsibility on our shoulders. We might be the universe's only chance at consciousness, at understanding itself. Carl Sagan once said that we are the universe's way of knowing itself. If we're alone, we're not just destroying ourselves when we risk our existence. We're destroying the universe's only known observers. The weight of this solitude would be staggering. Every piece of art, every scientific discovery, every act of kindness or cruelty would take on cosmic significance. We wouldn't just be writing human history, we'd be writing the history of consciousness itself. But what if we're not alone, but rather one of the few civilizations that have survived long enough to look up at the stars? This raises profound ethical questions. Should we try to contact others, knowing it might lead to our destruction? Should we hide and protect ourselves, even if that means leaving other emerging civilizations to face the cosmic darkness alone? Think about this. If you saw someone about to walk into a dangerous situation, wouldn't you want to warn them? But in the context of the dark forest, sending out such a warning could be suicide. How do we balance our moral imperative to help others with our duty to protect ourselves? The implications for space exploration are equally profound. As we plan missions to Mars and dream of reaching the stars, should we be more cautious? Should we build our space presence in ways that make us harder to detect? Or should we boldly announce our presence, believing that the rewards of contact outweigh the risks? Here's a fascinating historical parallel. When European explorers first set out across the oceans, they had no idea what they would find. Some ships never returned. Others discovered new worlds. We're in a similar position now, but the ocean is infinite, and the stakes are the survival of our entire species. These questions also force us to think about our own development as a species. If advanced civilizations tend to destroy themselves or go into hiding, what does that say about the path we're on? Should we be developing technologies to hide ourselves from detection, or should we be focusing on ways to make ourselves indispensable to any civilization that might find us? Arthur C. Clarke once wrote that any sufficiently advanced technology would be indistinguishable from magic. Perhaps we need to become the magicians of tomorrow, developing capabilities that would make us valuable allies rather than potential threats to any civilization we might encounter. But there's an even deeper question here. What is the purpose of intelligence in the universe? If the most successful strategy for survival is to hide and stay quiet, why did consciousness evolve in the first place? Are we missing something fundamental about the nature of cosmic evolution? Consider this. Every major advance in human history has come from connection and communication, not isolation. The internet, the scientific method, democracy, all these rely on sharing information and working together. Could this pattern hold true on a cosmic scale, or does something fundamental change when we move beyond our planetary cradle? These questions don't have easy answers, but they force us to think deeply about who we are and what we might become. Whether we're alone or not, whether we should hide or reach out, we're facing decisions that will shape not just human history, but potentially the history of intelligence in our corner of the cosmos. As we stand at this cosmic crossroads, perhaps the most important question isn't whether we're alone, but what kind of civilization we want to be. Do we want to be the kind that hides in fear, or the kind that finds a way to transform the dark forest into something else entirely? After all, even in the darkest forest, life finds a way to create communities, to support and nurture growth. Maybe that's our true cosmic purpose, not just to survive, but to find a way to help the forest itself evolve into something less dark and threatening. As we stand at the threshold of becoming a space-faring civilization, we face perhaps the most crucial decision in our species' history. Should we announce our presence to the cosmos, or should we hide in the shadows? Think about it for a moment. Right now, we're like a child shouting in what might be a dangerous forest. Our radio signals have been traveling through space for over 100 years, creating an ever-expanding bubble of human noise that's now reached thousands of star systems. Our television broadcasts, our military radars, our astronomical research signals, they're all announcing to any potential listeners that here we are, on this beautiful blue marble called Earth. But what if this cosmic candor is a terrible mistake? The preparation for potential interstellar contact or conflict isn't just science fiction anymore. Some of the world's leading scientists and military strategists are already considering defensive scenarios. Just as fascinating, they're developing detection systems that could alert us to approaching artificial objects from deep space and working on technologies that could potentially shield Earth from detection, like massive arrays of satellites that could mask our electromagnetic emissions. The role of science and technology in our cosmic survival is absolutely critical. We're not just talking about building bigger rockets or better telescopes. We're developing quantum computers that could help us decode alien messages, artificial intelligence systems that could serve as translators for extraterrestrial communication, and even theoretical work on gravitational manipulation that might one day allow us to hide entire planets. But here's where it gets really interesting. Some scientists are already working on what they call planetary defense systems. These aren't just about protecting us from asteroids anymore. They're considering how we might defend ourselves from an advanced civilization that might not have our best interests at heart. From developing advanced propulsion systems that could allow for quick evacuation of Earth if needed, to researching ways to mask our atmospheric signatures that might reveal the presence of intelligent life. The most mind-bending part? We might need to make these decisions sooner than we think. Our technological advancement is accelerating at an unprecedented rate. Within decades, we might have the capability to detect biosignatures on thousands of exoplanets, but this same technology that allows us to find others might also allow them to find us. Some scientists argue that we're already past the point of hiding. Our industrial pollution, our modification of Earth's atmosphere, the lights of our cities, these might all be visible to any sufficiently advanced civilization with the right detection technology. Others suggest that we might still have time to develop cloaking technologies to become what they call a low-emission civilization. The question isn't just whether we should hide or announce ourselves. It's about what kind of cosmic civilization we want to become. Are we going to be the cautious survivors, building our technological capabilities in silence? Or will we be the ones who take the risk of reaching out, believing that the rewards of contact outweigh the risks? As we continue to advance our understanding of the cosmos, one thing becomes crystal clear: our decisions today about how we approach our cosmic future might very well determine whether humanity becomes a lasting part of the galactic story or just another silent civilization in the dark forest of space. But what if we're being too pessimistic? What if, somewhere in this cosmic dark forest, there's a clearing, a safe haven where civilizations can meet and flourish together? Let's explore a more hopeful vision of our cosmic future. Imagine for a moment that advanced civilizations have found ways to transcend the brutal logic of survival and competition. Perhaps they've discovered that cooperation and mutual growth are far more advantageous than conflict. After all, the universe is vast beyond comprehension, with resources that could sustain countless civilizations for billions of years. Some scientists propose the existence of what they call cosmic gatherings, theoretical regions of space where advanced civilizations might have established zones of peace and cooperation. Think of them as galactic United Nations, where different species share knowledge, culture, and resources. These could be the clearings in our dark forest. The key to finding these clearings might lie in technological transcendence. Throughout human history, every major technological breakthrough has fundamentally changed the rules of the game. The invention of agriculture transformed us from nomadic hunters into settlers. The Industrial Revolution completely reorganized human society. Now, imagine what technologies like artificial intelligence, quantum computing, or even more exotic possibilities like vacuum energy harvesting could do. Here's a fascinating possibility. What if advanced civilizations have found ways to transcend physical form altogether? They might have uploaded their consciousness into vast computer networks, or perhaps they exist in dimensions we can't yet perceive. Such civilizations wouldn't need to compete for physical resources, completely changing the dark forest dynamics. Science fiction has been instrumental in helping us imagine these possibilities. Arthur C. Clarke, for example, envisioned humanity transcending physical form in his book Childhood's End. Isaac Asimov's Foundation series explored the idea of a galactic civilization working together to prevent a dark age. These weren't just entertaining stories. They were thought experiments that helped us imagine different possible futures. Some of today's leading scientists and philosophers believe that the development of artificial intelligence might be the key to breaking out of the dark forest paradigm. An AI with sufficient understanding of the cosmos might help us find ways to communicate safely with other civilizations or develop technologies that make conflict obsolete. Consider this. What if the true sign of an advanced civilization isn't its ability to hide or destroy others, but its ability to transcend the fear and suspicion that make the dark forest scenario possible? Maybe the most advanced civilizations have evolved beyond competition and conflict, creating technologies that allow for peaceful coexistence. The role of science fiction in shaping our cosmic future cannot be overstated. Many of the technologies we take for granted today were first imagined by science fiction writers. Mobile phones were inspired by Star Trek's communicators. Virtual reality was described in detail by science fiction authors decades before it became possible. Even the concept of space travel itself was popularized by science fiction before it became a reality. This brings us to perhaps the most important point. Our imagination today shapes our reality tomorrow. By envisioning and working toward a more optimistic future, we might just be able to create that clearing in the dark forest. Maybe the key to surviving in the cosmos isn't hiding in the shadows, but building bridges across the darkness. After all, every forest, no matter how dark, has its clearings. Perhaps our task isn't to hide forever, but to be brave enough to step into the light when we find it, ready to meet whatever or whoever awaits us there. As we reach the end of our journey through the dark forest hypothesis, let's take a moment to gather our thoughts about this profound and somewhat unsettling theory of cosmic existence. We've explored how the fundamental drive for survival, combined with the inability to know the true intentions of other civilizations, might create a universe where silence is the safest strategy. We've seen how this theory suggests that advanced civilizations might be lurking in the darkness, choosing to remain hidden rather than risk detection. Think about how this changes our entire perspective of the night sky. Those twinkling stars above us are no longer just distant suns waiting to be explored. They're potential hiding spots in a cosmic game of survival. Every unexplained astronomical phenomenon we observe might not just be a natural occurrence, but perhaps the traces of civilizations far more advanced than ours, carefully concealing their existence. But this knowledge comes with an enormous responsibility. Here we are, a young civilization just beginning to make noise in the cosmos. Our radio signals are already traveling outward, creating an ever-expanding bubble of human presence in space. We're like children playing with matches in a forest, unaware of what lurks in the shadows. The dark forest hypothesis forces us to confront some uncomfortable questions. Are we being naive in our enthusiastic attempts to contact other civilizations? Should we be more cautious in our cosmic broadcasts? Or should we take the risk, hoping to find not predators, but fellow explorers in the darkness? Perhaps the most profound aspect of this theory is how it mirrors our own earthly experiences. Just as ancient human tribes often had to choose between contact or concealment when encountering unknown groups, we now face similar decisions on a cosmic scale. The stakes are infinitely higher, but the fundamental dilemma remains the same. As we continue our journey into space, we might be the first civilization in our corner of the galaxy to step boldly into the clearing, announcing our presence. Or we might be walking into a forest that's already teeming with hidden life, each civilization holding its breath, hoping not to be discovered. This isn't just a theory about aliens. It's a mirror reflecting our own fears, hopes, and choices as a species. How we choose to proceed in this cosmic forest might well determine not just our future, but our very survival. Before we part ways, if this journey through the dark forest has changed how you look at the night sky, if it's made you wonder about our place in this vast and possibly dangerous cosmos, then take a moment to support our exploration of these fascinating ideas. Hit that like button and subscribe to Exploring the Universe. Every week, we'll continue to venture deeper into the mysteries of space, examining theories that challenge our understanding of reality and our place in it. Whether we're alone in this cosmic forest or surrounded by hidden observers, we'll keep exploring, questioning, and wondering together. Remember, as you look up at the stars tonight, that we might be standing at the edge of a dark forest. What we do next could echo through the cosmos for generations to come. Will we whisper? Will we shout? Or will we learn to navigate this celestial wilderness with wisdom and courage? The choice, for now, is ours to make. Until next time, keep exploring the universe, but perhaps do it quietly.